And today, Andre Jacques, Wilson McLeod, Richard Pennock, and Nadine Lowe from Isidore Newman School will meet in a battle of quick recall. Chris Landry, Ruben Trevino, Dwayne Mayan, and Bradford Monk from Berwick High School. The alternate from Newman, Quinn Hilliard, and the coach, Kenneth McKenzie. The alternate from Berwick High School, Cindy Gogler, and the coach, Gaynell Topham. And now, here's our moderator, Mel Levitt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to Varsity Quiz Bowl. This is our 14th season of play on this particular bowl tournament. This week we have, or this year I should say, 64 different teams entered in an elimination tourney that will climax with a one-hour championship game. Incidentally, before we begin, I'd like to introduce our judge, Dr. Ann Akers. She's back again with us, and we're delighted. Our scorer is Phyllis Hartley, Associate Director of Records at the University of New Orleans. Phyllis has been with us for a decade now. And our recognizer for today's match is Suzanne Bornkessel, who's membership manager of WYES-TV. Let's have a round of applause for these three very fine ladies. All right. We have Berwick, a first-time entrant in Varsity Quiz Bowl, and we're delighted to have them play the game with Isidore Newman, who consistently has been among our better teams. So, good luck, teams. If you're ready, here we go. This is a face-off. We're leading up to a lanyap of 30 points. The question is this. Alan Paton is a novelist whose works include Cry the Beloved Country. For 10 points, what specific country is this novel?
Newman McLeod.
South Africa.
That is correct. South Africa. And you're on the board, Isidore Newman. Here's an audio lanyap. This is 30 points. Listen to a musical selection, which we're about to play, and then I'm going to ask you 3 different questions. All right, that'll give you a sample of the work of a great composer. Can you tell me his name?
Chopin.
That's correct, Frederick Chopin. Now, for another 10 points, tell me the name of that composition that was being played on the piano.
Polonaise.
Military Polonaise.
That's right, it was. Polonaise Militaire. And for a bonus 10 points, tell me the name of the Hollywood film in the 40s in which this composition was featured.
Beau Geste.
No, this was in A Song to Remember, which is a somewhat fictionalized life of Chopin. But you got 2 of 3, and that's 20 points for Isidore Newman. Here's another face-off. We're going for a lanyap of 25 points. Bishop Wilberforce of Oxford wrote that Christianity, quote, is utterly irreconcilable with the degrading notion of the brute image of him who was created in the image of God. For 10 points, of what theory was Wilberforce speaking? Of what theory was he speaking? Anyone?
Newman Lowe.
Darwinism?
That's right. He was speaking of Darwinism. And he didn't like it. Lanyap, 25 points. A metric measure with the prefix deci, that is D-E-C-I, means the 10th part, or 10 to the negative 1 power. The prefix hecto, H-E-C-T-O, connotes 10 to the 2nd power. Now, for 5 points each, tell me to what power you'd raise 10 in order to have the following prefixes. First, kilo, K-I-L-O.
3.
That's right. Giga, or Gija, G-I-G-A.
5.
No, this would be 9. Tera, T-E-R-A.
No.
We'll ask for an answer, please.
100.
No, this would be 12. Boy, these are cute. Centi, or centa, really,
100.
centa. No, it's negative 2. Negative 2. Tough one. One of the 4 gives you 5 points, and that is 5 for Isidore Newman. I'll apologize there. I indicated a 25-point question, and it was a little blurry on my manuscript here. It was 20, actually, the potential. Another face-off, we're going for a lanyap of 20. Edward Livingston was the mayor of New York City from 1801 to 1803. He left New York and he went to another state where he became a member of that state's legislature, and eventually he represented that state in the U.S. Congress and Senate. From 1831 to 1833, he served as Secretary of State. For 10 points, what state did Livingston represent in Washington before becoming Secretary of State? Edward Livingston. Anyone want to take it? Louisiana. He was from Louisiana. Okay. We have another face-off. For 10 points, to which of the following animals is a bat most closely related? A crocodile, a paramecium, a chameleon, a cat, or an oriole?
Newman McLeod.
Cat.
That's right. They're both mammals. You got it for 10. Here's another lanyap at 20 points, Newman. The United States Open Tennis Championships for 1980 were concluded this past weekend, as many of you saw on television. The women's finals were on Saturday, the men's finals Sunday. For 5 points apiece, tell me the names of the 4 players, 2 women and 2 men, who played in the singles finals, male and female.
Okay, the females were Chris Evert and Hanna Mandlukova. And the males were John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg.
You know your tennis. You were watching. That's it. 20 points. We have another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 20. For 10 points, identify the famous American who was tagged with a rather paradoxical nickname of the Little Giant. Who did they call the Little Giant in American history?
Newman Jacques.
Stephen Douglas.
That's right. Came about during his debates with Abraham Lincoln. Here's another lanyap of 20 points for 5 points apiece. Provide the word starting with the letter C-O-N that fit these definitions. First, a flowing together, especially of 2 or more streams, is called...
Concurrence?
No, more specifically, confluence with streams. Formed or collected into a ball or rounded mass and clustered into a, with a C-O-N, conglomerate. An accompanying or attendant condition, circumstance, or thing is called a...
Condition.
Condition?
No, more specifically, a concomitant. All right. Finally, a putting together, guess or inference. Begins with C-O-N, conjecture.
Conjecture.
Conjecture. All right. Well, sounds like we are playing ping pong here. All right, another face-off going for a lanyap. This is the face-off. A popular radio series of the 40s was The Green Hornet. It debuted on television in the 60s. The hero was the Green Hornet, and his companion was Kato. For 10 points, what actor portrayed Kato in the television?
Berwick Monk.
Bruce Lee.
That's right. Bruce Lee was Kato. It's the first time he came to prominence. You're on the board, Berwick. And here's a lanyap at 20 points. I'm going to explain the principle behind 2 famous effects. Listen, and then for 10 each, name the effects if you can. First, radiation liberates electrons in water, but since the velocity of electrons in a medium cannot exceed the velocity of light in that medium, the electrons lose energy in the form of visible light. What kind of an effect is that called?
Photoelectric.
No, actually, this is a Cherenkov effect. As a distance between the source of sound or light and observer becomes less or greater, frequency of waves received increases or decreases, respectively.
It's Hertz, I think. Hertz.
No, this is the Doppler, so-called Doppler effect. We'll move on to another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 20 for 10 points. In what city would you find the Frick Museum, the Whitney Museum, and the Guggenheim?
Newman McLeod.
New York.
That's right, they're all in New York City. 10 points for Newman. Another lanyap at 20. For 5 points each, Newman, who is generally credited with saying the following? First, war is hell.
General Sherman.
That's right. Never say die. Comes out of Charles Dickens. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Who? Karl Marx.
No, this is Samuel Johnson.
Johnson.
Don't give up the ship. He's a capitalist.
What'd you say?
Don't give up the ship.
John Paul Jones?
No, this is often, this is misanswered. It's actually James Lawrence originated that particular saying. We have 5 points on the lanyard. Newman. Another face. Well, we won't get to that face-off, at least not for right now. We have a rapid-fire round coming up. That's what the buzzer signified. In rapid-fire, of course, I ask the questions as quickly as they're answered. We always have a central theme. If you answer correctly, it's 10 points. An incorrect answer is a -5. We proceed accordingly, from question to question. Only one answer to a question, no referrals. Today's rapid-fire will ask you to identify people, places, and things based upon general knowledge. The answers to all the questions begin with the letters P-L. A P and an L starts off each and every one of these answers. So let's begin our rapid fire. First, the thin, transparent film on a tooth surface. With a PL?
Plaque. Newman Pennock.
Plaque.
Plaque is correct. A seaport in Devonshire, southwest England.
Newman McLeod.
Plymouth.
Correct. Genus of flatworms is what?
Newman McLeod.
Platyhelminthes.
That's correct. Radioactive chemical element.
Newman Jocks.
Plutonium.
Correct. A braid of hair.
Berwick Mayon.
A plant.
Plat is correct, or plate. A member of the freshman class of the U.S. Military or Naval Academy is called...
Newman Jocks.
Plebe.
Correct. First epoch of the Quaternary period in the Cenozoic era.
Newman Jocks.
Plesiozoic.
No, it's Pleistocene. An aphid, or aphid, A-P-H-I-D, is a plant louse. Famous Greek historian?
Berwick Mayon.
Pluto.
Correct. No, Pluto. Plutarch. Plutarch is correct. Sandy beach at a seaside resort area is plage, P-L-A-G-E. Cluster of stars in the constellation Taurus.
Newman McLeod.
Pleiades.
That's right. Chemical element having the symbol PT.
Newman McLeod.
Platinum.
Correct. British term for sneakers or deck shoes.
Newman McLeod.
Plimsolls.
That's right. What you do to earn a field goal in football.
Berwick Trevino.
Place kick.
Correct. Where the British under Wolfe defeated the French under Montcalm. Plains of Abraham. Small aquatic egg-laying mammal.
Berwick Trevino.
Platypus.
That's right. Fluid part of the blood.
Berwick Mayon.
Plasma.
Correct. Thin membrane that covers a lung and lines that half of the chest cavity in mammals is called pleura. Small pincers in any of various forms. Pliers. Pliers. Slang for a worn-out horse. Old broken-down plug. Square block at the base of a column is called. It's called a plinth, of all things. Okay, the buzzer signifies the end of not only rapid fire, but the first round of play, our first half. We're going to take a breather here, and in just a moment we'll be back to talk to the captains about the various activities of the school this coming year, and then we'll resume play on Varsity Quiz Bowl. Stay tuned.
I've got a story to tell you. It's all about spies.
Tinker, tailor, soldier, spy. John le Carré's story of international espionage.
If you can't beat it, spy on it.
Alec Guinness stars in Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. A great performance in 6 parts.
See it Wednesday night at 7 on Channel 12.
We'll resume play in just a few moments with the second half of the game between Newman and Berwick. Right now, though, we're going to ask the captains to tell us a little bit about their schools and what's going on this fall. We'll start with Wilson McLeod. Incidentally, this is your second year on the
Yeah, it is.
on the Quiz Bowl.
Well, our new gym's coming along quite well. That'll be finished probably early next year. Our football team's off to a good, strong start, and our volleyball team's doing well. Our newspaper will be coming out for the earliest in its history, and literary magazines moving along very well. And our soccer team went to Holland this summer, and they played a lot of teams over there. And
That's quite a trip, huh?
yeah, they went all over and went to Belgium too.
That's excellent.
And we've also instituted a completely new advising system with students and faculty.
I thought maybe it involved people who weren't on the faculty at all. I'm only kidding. Newman has an excellent tradition, and we're delighted to have you participating in this game as you have for so many years. Thank you a lot, Wilson. Good luck to you and your team and the Newman School. Berwick is with us for the first time, and we're sure glad to have your school represented. I know it's quite an experience coming under fire the first time out, but a lot of folks out there probably would be interested at this point in something about your school, Reuben.
Well, I guess they'd like to know where it is. It's in between Morgan City and Patterson, and if you don't, it's on the other side of the river, Morgan City. And we're not a very big school. We have around 530 people, and some of our clubs are the Drama Club, the Beta Club, the Historical Society, and well, our band's doing pretty good right now. And getting ready for a district festival, and say our volleyball team won both of their opening games, which is good, and our football team's going to go into a district competition next week, I believe.
Well, that's excellent. You have a lot of activities, I know, going for you. It's also a very thriving area in terms of shipping and water commerce. I've been down there, seen some great shipbuilding. In fact, there was a fellow from that area that built the Swift in Vietnam that went in where nobody else could, an inventor. Thank you very much, Reuben, and we're delighted to have you with us. Okay, here we go with the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Berwick versus Isidore Newman. And we're going to start off with a visual question as a face-off to begin the second half of play, leading into a lanyap of 20. Here's your visual, your first face-off. We want you to look at the photograph that you'll see on the monitor. In just a moment, we'll bring it up. And then for a quick 10 points, tell me, who is this gentleman?
Berwick, Mayan.
Bob Hope.
What's that?
Bob Hope.
No, afraid not. Isidore Newman, can you take it? Do you recognize a kisser that you just saw?
Newman, Jocks.
Shah of Iran?
No, this was Lord Louis Mountbatten. Lord Louis Mountbatten. You don't see too many pictures of him, but yeah, in his younger days, I think, too. All right, we have another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 20. This term was first used by Lord Rutherford, and it's most commonly used in connection with radioactive substances. It is the time taken by these substances to decay to 50% of their...
Newman, Pennock.
Half-life.
Half-life is correct. You got 10 points. The time used to decay to 50% of their original activities. Your lanyap of 20 points. In his sonnet on his blindness, John Milton concludes with the statement that, quote, they also serve who only do
Stand
two
and
things.
wait.
What?
Stand and wait.
That's right. Those are the two things. They also serve who only stand and wait. You've got 20 points. Or in this case, sit and answer. Okay, we've got another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 25 teams for 10 points. What is the name of the extensive, generally grass-covered plain found east of the Andes Mountains in South America? What do we call that plain?
Newman, McLeod.
Pampas?
That's right, it is. The Pampas or Pampa? 25 points of lanyap, Newman. You may consult, of course, for 5 points each. Tell me, in what countries would you find the following cities? Dhaka, D-A-C-C-A.
Bangladesh.
That's right. Marrakesh is in what country?
Morocco.
That's right. Malmo, M-A-L-M-O, is in Sweden. Porto, P-O-R-T-O, Porto. It's in Portugal. And finally, Bilbao.
Brazil.
No, it sure sounds like it, though, with the A. Spain. It's actually in Spain. You have 2 of them and 10 points. Isidore Newman. We have another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 20. The WCTU has long been a foe of demon rum. For 10 points, what do the initials WCTU...
Newman, McLeod.
Women's Christian Temperance Union.
That's exactly right. WCTU. Picked up 10. Here's a chance at 20 more. Only 2 of the signers of the Declaration of Independence eventually became President of the United States. For 10 points each, identify these men.
George Washington? No. And Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson was. Washington was not. John Adams was the other. 10 more points for Isidore Newman. All right, Newman and Berwick, another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 20. For a quick 10 points, name the American flyer who led the famous raid on Tokyo in the Second World War. Famous raid on Tokyo, prior to the dropping of the bomb, was led by James Doolittle. James Doolittle. Another face-off. William Golding wrote a novel, Lord of the Flies, about a group of English schoolboys who were marooned on an island. For 10 points, what is the original name meaning Lord of the Flies? Goes way
Newman,
back.
Low.
Beelzebub?
That's right, it is. Beelzebub. Picked up 10. Lanyap at 20, Newman. There are 4 golf tournaments which comprise the Grand Slam of golf. No player in modern times has been able to win all 4 of these tournaments. For 5 points each, what are the tournaments we're talking about? The Grand Slam tournaments. All right.
Okay, the Masters, the British Open,
All right.
U.S. Open.
All right.
Any others?
One more.
World Series of Golf.
No, the other would be the PGA, but you had the first 3 right, and that's 15 points. We have another face-off going for a lanyap at 20. For a quick 10, what is the largest selling game in the world today?
Berwick, Trevino.
Chess.
No, afraid not.
Newman, McLeod.
Monopoly.
It is Monopoly. We have another lanyap at 20 points. The Suez Canal has played an important role in the conflict in the Middle East. The canal connects 2 seas. For 10 points each, identify these 2 bodies of water.
The Red Sea and the Mediterranean.
You've got them both. That's 20 points. We have another face-off. We're leading toward a lanyap of 20. For 10 points, what New England state became the 14th state, the first state to join the Union after the 13 original colonies?
Newman, Low.
Vermont?
Vermont is correct. right, Newman, here's a 20-point lagniappe. All protein molecules are composed of the same 4 basic chemical elements. For 5 points each, name these 4 elements.
Carbon.
All right.
Carbon,
A
oxygen.
few more seconds.
Okay. Nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen.
You have all 4. We have another face-off going for a lagniappe at 20. For 10 points, what is the correct anatomical name given to that bone which we commonly refer to as the collarbone?
Berwick, Trevino.
Scapula.
No, no. Isidore Newman, can you take it? Anyone? It's the clavicle. Another face-off. When Don Quixote met a lady of dubious background, he identified her as the personification that he was seeking of courtly love. For 10 points, by what name did he refer to this woman?
Newman, Jocks.
Dulcinea.
That's correct for 10 points. Your lagniappe is 20 points, calls for 4 answers. In Switzerland, there are 3 official languages and a 4th language acknowledged as a national language. While this may seem confusing, it apparently works well for the Swiss. For 5 points each, identify the 3 official languages, and for another 5, identify the 4th language spoken there.
Italian, German, French.
English.
No, it isn't.
And one more, the official.
Cantonese.
No.
It's something like that.
Whoops. French, Italian, and German. And the national is Romanche. Romanche. Okay, you got 15 points. We have another face-off. We're going for a lagniappe at 20 points. In the film Topper, the title character, Cosmo Topper, is a friend of George and Marion Kirby. For 10 points during most of the movie, what is the most unusual thing about the Kirbys?
Newman, Low.
No one else but Topper can see them.
That's right, they're ghosts. He's the only one who can. Your lagniappe is 20 points. And this one is tops, you might say, to tip off the gist of the questioning. For 5 points each, identify the following words or phrases containing the word top. A rotary motion imparted to an object causing its rotation in the direction of the flight.
Topspin.
Topspin.
That's right. The leading comedian in a show is often called Top Banana, in an impromptu manner. Very impromptu. Off the top of one's head. And finally, a garden in which trees or shrubs are trimmed into ornamental shapes.
Topological garden.
Topological garden.
No, this is topiary. Topiary garden. And you picked up 5 more points. Isidore Newman. We have another face-off. We're going for a lagniappe at 20. Between 264 and 146 BC, Carthage and Rome engaged in 3 wars in which these 2 great powers contested for supremacy in the western Mediterranean. For 10 points, what were these wars called?
Newman, McLeod.
Punic Wars.
They were the Punic Wars. A lagniappe at 20 points, Newman. Automobile models are named after many things from animals to cities to people. One man, Ransom Eli Olds, has the distinction of having 2 makes of cars named for him. One of the models still in production. The other has long since been discontinued. For 10 points each, name the 2 kinds of cars named for Ransom Eli Olds.
Oldsmobile is one.
That's right.
Edsel?
No. You ever hear the Rio? That's the first time I realized this. The Rio was named after Ransom Eli Olds, R-E-O. I never knew that before. You've got 10 points. Here we have a face-off going for a lagniappe at 20 points. This woman was one of the early participants in the women's liberation movement. Her book, The Feminine Mystique, published in 1960.
Newman, Jocks.
Betty Friedan.
That's the lady, Betty Friedan. Lagniappe at 20 points for 5 each. Tell me where you would go to find the following places. Just supply the name of the city. First, the Forbidden City is in what city?
It's Peking.
Peking.
That's right. The Wailing Wall.
Jerusalem.
Correct. Checkpoint Charlie.
Berlin.
Right. And finally, the Alamo.
San Antonio.
Correct again. 20 points. Newman. We have another face-off. We're going for a lagniappe at 20 teams. Angelo Siciliano was at one time a 97-pound weakling. He eventually became, he claimed...
Newman, McLeod.
Charles Atlas.
That's who he was. That's right. It was Charles Atlas. He became the world's most perfectly developed man, according to his own admission. A lagniappe of 20 calls for 2 answers. During the Civil War, 2 states joined the Union. During, for 10 points each, what were these 2 states? All right, Captain.
I guess so. California, West Virginia.
California and West Virginia.
West Virginia was 1. The other was Nevada. Nevada. You picked up 10 more points. Isidore Newman. We have another face-off. We're going for a lanyap of 30 for 10 points. What type of cat has points, such as blue points, seal points, lilac points, or lynx points?
Berwick Landry.
Siamese.
That's correct. Siamese does. All right, Berwick, you got 10. Here's a chance at 30 more. This is a clue-type question. To add a little mystery to the show, if you can name this famous American after one clue, you'll earn 30 points. 20 points if it takes you 2 clues, and 10 points if it takes you all 3. First, she was a school teacher and a patent office clerk in Washington, D.C. For 30 points, can you figure out from that slim clue who she was? Famous American, all right? Now for 20, second clue. Born in Massachusetts in 1821. She was the author of a book titled The Story of My Childhood.
Anybody have it?
Give you any clue? All right, one more now for 10. Oh, what a shame. Time ran out on us. Actually, it was Clara Barton, the founder of the Red Cross, and the good clues were naturally in the third question. That buzzer officially ends our game. However, we're going to pause briefly to validate our score, and we'll be back with the winner in just a moment, right after this. Stay tuned.
The raging storm is supernatural, designed to bring us to Prospero and his island of wonders. Prospero, the magician, ringmaster of our revels. Miranda and Ferdinand falling in love. Drunken clowns falling in mirk. Caliban, the man-beast. Ariel, the spirit. All the stuff that dreams are made on. Don't miss the next Shakespeare play, The Tempest.
Coming soon on Channel 12.
The score is now official, ladies and gentlemen. The final, Isidore Newman, 440. Berwick High School, 55, in their first appearance here on Varsity Quiz Bowl. The winner, of course, is Isidore Newman. They'll advance to the second round against Brother Martin. Congratulations, Newman. So reaction there looked like a mixed reaction. I elated when I said victory, and then Brother Martin, they got apprehensive. Ready to play. Berwick, this is your first appearance here. And Reuben, you and your teammates are all seniors, aren't you? All seniors. Well, you paved the way for future groups to come on this bowl game program. And Gainell Topham, we hope that you'll have some more youngsters here to bring on. And in the future, they'll be moving to the second and third round. Congratulations, Berwick. All individual team members and coaches on today's program receive a special memento, which honors their appearance on Varsity Quiz Bowl. And we always point out that much like, well, athletics, Quiz Bowl emphasizes certain characteristics which we find in leaders, which involve initiative, quick reactions, teamwork, and mental agility. Those are the things that count. It's no reflection, of course, on the school's curriculum or the achievements of the various students, but it's certainly a test. We'll see you again next week. In the meantime, Newman will be back in January against Brother Martin. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Questions on Varsity Quiz Bowl are prepared and authenticated by the WIS editorial research staff and known only in advance to the quizmaster, producer, judge, and researcher. All 64 schools participating in our year-long tournament are matched by blind draw. Selections of team members and methods of preparation are the sole responsibility of the schools and their coaches. The preceding program was made possible by a grant from Pan American Life Insurance Company.